give a big good morning to everybody, and thank you for taking time to come here this morning. For those that are visiting, I'd like to open the Board of County Commission meeting Tuesday, April 26, 2016. Reverend Don Hanna's with us this morning. I didn't see him. Hey, how you doing, Rev? Come on up. After that, the pledge will be led by Commissioner Flagg.
Let us pray. Lord, I thank you for this day and for our commission. Lord, I thank you for this community, for our county. I pray your blessings upon its residents, upon our leaders this day as they meet, upon those who are here to listen and to lend their input. Lead and guide each one, and continue to be with us. For these things I pray in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Let's honor and salute our great nation together. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Reverend Hanna, thank you so much for delivering the service this morning. Commissioner Flagg, thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, in front of you, you have the Board of County Commission meeting minutes from Tuesday, April 12th. I'll entertain a motion.
Move approval. Second.
Motion and a second on the floor. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Minutes are approved. Thank you. Okay. Rick, I think you have the honors on the next item on the agenda.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to invite Marjorie Jacopic to come forward and join the chairman at the podium. And Ms. Allen, if you'd like to accompany Ms. Jacopic, that would be perfectly welcome. Marjorie Jacopic is the benefits specialist with Human Resources. Marjorie began working for Putnam County in September of 1994. Marjorie is being recognized as the Employee of the Quarter for the April, May, June quarter, having been selected by a committee of her peers. Marjorie is primarily responsible for the recently successful health fair that was put on here in the Board of Commissioners meeting room in the beginning of the month, and Marjorie is being recognized for the second time in her career with the county as the Employee of the Quarter. So we want to recognize you and congratulate you for that. All right.
Brag on Marjorie. She's a person you don't make mad.
That's true. Marjorie's one of HR's unsung heroes because you can imagine all the things that come before us. And it's my privilege to work with her, and I thank her for all her hard work that she does. We'd love to tell you what we do in HR, but as you know, it's very confidential, so that makes my discussion a little bit short. But I do receive numerous compliments on Marjorie all the time, and when people come in their hour of need, I always know I can rely on her to comfort them and to put them on the right path. And she's had a lot to do that lately, so I really appreciate her being a part of our HR team, and I look forward to many, many more years. Thank you, Marjorie.
Mr. Chairman, while you all are having a Kodak moment, I also would like to echo how wonderful Putnam County is as a result of having a person who know their business and the benefits that our employees have earned. This lady know her business, and we're grateful to have an expert in benefits.
So true, Chairman.
Thank you.
I mean, the chairman, Commissioner Flagg. I'm the chairman.
Past chairman, all right.
Marjorie, thank you. Appreciate you.
Okay. Item number 4 on the agenda this morning, proclamation celebrating National Law Enforcement Week and National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Day. That proclamation will be brought forward by Commissioner Pellissier.
As soon as I find it. Yes.
Well, come on up.
Major.
Major Harrell. Glad to see you here, and
You going to represent there, Major?
Yes, sir.
As they're getting set, I'll get started. Proclamation number 2016-29, National Law Enforcement Week and National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Day. Whereas the week of May 15, 2016 through May 21, 2016 has been designated as National Law Enforcement Week, and whereas the day May 5, 2016 has been designated locally as Putnam County Law Enforcement Day, and whereas Putnam County has dedicated law enforcement men and women serving our county under difficult, stressful, and often dangerous circumstances, and whereas law enforcement officers are guardians of life and property and defenders of the individual's rights to be free, warriors in the war against crime, and dedicated to the preservation of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And whereas Florida and the municipalities within Putnam County desire to honor the valor and service and dedication of its own law enforcement officers, comprised of city, town, county, and state law enforcement agencies. Now therefore be it recognized and proclaimed by the Putnam County Board of County Commission that the week of May 15, 2016 through May 21, 2016 be recognized as National Law Enforcement Week, and that May 5th, 2016 be proclaimed Putnam County Law Enforcement Memorial Day. Be it further proclaimed that the citizens of Putnam County are urged to show their support and appreciation of our law enforcement officers who give their lives to protect, serve, and their communities by attending countywide law enforcement memorial service to be held Thursday, May 5th, 2016 at 10 a.m. at the Ravine Garden State Park in Palatka. So ordered this 26th day of April. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to offer that proclamation as a motion.
Thank you, Commissioner. We have a motion on the floor. We have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And it carries. Thank you, Major Carroll.
Thank you.
Let's turn that around and get our Kodak moment.
iPhone moment. Kodak mic. May 5th, let's see.
Just wanted to say thank you on behalf of Sheriff Hardy, 1024 Foundation, and all the law enforcement officers in Putnam County. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And we have an event coming up, I believe next week, to celebrate this cause even further and to benefit the 1024 Foundation, and I'm sure we'll all be there. Okay, next we have a additional proclamation, Child Welfare Professionals Recognition Day, and that will be read by Commissioner Flagg.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's my honor to present this proclamation for adoption. Putnam County Proclamation number 2016-31, Child Welfare Professionals Recognition Day. Whereas children are Florida's most precious resource and our promise for a bright future, and whereas Florida's child welfare professionals are responsible for ensuring that our children live free from maltreatment, enjoy long-term secure relationships within strong families and communities, are physically and emotionally healthy, are socially competent, and that families nurture, protect, and meet the needs of their children, and are well integrated into their communities. And whereas Florida's child welfare professionals build rapport and trust with the family and people who know and support the family, empower family members by seeking information about their strengths, resources, and proposed solutions, and demonstrate respect for the family as the family exists in its social network, community, and culture. And whereas Florida's child welfare professionals form partnerships with family members and people who know and support the family, partner and share information with relative caregivers and foster and adopted parents, and lead and facilitate partnership with all involved parties to achieve optimum communication, clear roles and responsibilities, and mutual accountability while including parent and other caregivers in case decision making. And whereas Florida's child welfare professionals make lasting contributions and are sincerely dedicated to improving the lives of all children. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Putnam County Board of Commissioners that May 9th, 2016 is recognized as Child Welfare Professionals Recognition Day in Putnam County. Mr. Chairman, I so move that we adopt this proclamation.
We have a motion on the floor.
Second.
Second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It passes. Commissioner Flagg, thank you for delivering that.
Thank you, sir.
All right, next on the agenda, I only have one blue card. It's public comment. Faye Sparkman, you're the first speaker. If you can come on up, and anybody from the public that would like to speak after Faye, just come on up when she's done.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This morning, I just have to announce that Monday at 7 o'clock at Volunteer Fire Station 4, we have 2 speakers. It is Attorney Timothy Kaiser. He's going to explain to us the pros and cons of a charter county for Putnam County. Our second speaker will be Catherine Van Zant. She's running for our state representative for District 19. The second thing on here is, and I believe Mrs. Harris is the only one that knows what these are, and I'll give you a picture first and then we'll talk about it.
Commissioners, what Mrs. Sparkman is passing out here is a sign celebrating the Babe Ruth League in the Babe Ruth Field in Interlaken, and vandals, if you look down on the second page, you will see a flange that the bolts are missing. It looks like they were trying to steal it because it's made out of very thick aluminum and therefore being valuable in a sense of scrap. So, Mr. Leary, I guess I'll turn to you. We can turn to Public Works and have this secured in just a manner that this won't happen.
I believe Ms. Wisnant is aware of this sign. Is this the one you've been
Yes, sir.
communicating with us about?
Yes, sir. I emailed you and Ms. Wisnett and the Sheriff's Department, and I think I emailed Mike Nimitz on it too about, you asked me where that sign was located at. So yeah, everybody seems to know. A little weld on the top would solve the whole problem.
I'm sure it's being addressed.
Well, what happened was my husband keeps that corner mowed because that is county. And I think Mrs. Harris is the only one that knows when that sign was put up. And so when he came back from mowing, he said, go look at 2 of the bolts are completely gone, and the other ones, they started stripped. So I saw a policeman across the street. So I went and got them. One of them was Blaine Moody. The sergeant that came, I believe, was DuPay. And they had 2 young deputies, and they showed it, and they got down, and they said, if a truck or something heavy gets a hold of it, they can yank it right out. And they said that's A1 aluminum worth a lot of money. And that sign's been there, 16 years, I think? I think you were on the board when it was approved.
About that, yes.
So I just wanted to let you all know, because Larry Harvey, I called him immediately. He called Roads, Parks, and Recreation. The policeman told me to call them, and I said I had Larry Harvey do it. So I just want you to aware, that was a week ago Monday, and it's still not fixed.
Okay, thank you for sharing that with us. And I think we'll get it secured. Okay, anybody else? John Spells, come on up.
Good morning, everybody. John Spells, 106 Itches Swain. I was watching the news last night, and I seen something that really bothered me as far as this here land use ordeal y'all got with the young lady with the horses. And I don't understand, why would you actually make an ordinance that would put a person in a situation to where they got to have a certain amount of land? You got to realize, for everybody that have animals, they buy feed, they pay taxes. If y'all restrict them to where they have to buy so much property just to have 1 or 2 animals, then it's not even worth it. And then, you know, a lot of time people wonder why the kids now grow up on drugs and do so many miscellaneous stuff. They ain't got no American dream. Everything now is pretty well coming to an auction. Everything you got to do with what you thought you was going to work and be able to retire and take care, you got to get permits, license, and all that crap. That's not an American dream. People like animals because a lot of times animals are easier to deal with than people. I'm one of them. But the thing of it is, if everything that y'all can figure y'all can make $1 out, y'all legislate a law and control it, you know, you're really hindering the people, and that wasn't the reason the people put y'all in office. They put you in office in order to do the thing where everybody can live and be happy, not just for certain people to benefit some kind of way to make money. And I'm finished with that. My next thing is I was out there on Hunter Road the other day, and I noticed farther down they was installing culverts. And my question is, in which I got property on Hunter Road and I got some on Cemetery Road. But my question is, how far are y'all actually going with the pavement? Are y'all going all the way down Hunter Road to the Lake Estates, or how far are y'all actually going?
Mr. Pelletier, why don't you take that?
We're gonna pave in from Highway 20 and Durden Road turning back to the east and going down Hunter Road to Hollister School Road.
And how far are you going after then?
That's it. That ties in the circle of pavement back to Highway 20.
You got to be kidding. You mean to tell me you're just gonna make a loop, what about down there by Cemetery Road? Y'all gonna do anything down that way?
Not at this time.
That's a joke?
No, that's serious.
Well, you kind of had Shirley under the impression that they were gonna actually do Cemetery Road. What was the purpose of installing the culverts?
Never gave her that impression. Drew her a map of what was gonna get paved.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess you'll have to find out from me about that. Everybody's now thinking that Hunter Road was going to get paved past the cemetery, and in which when I left the last meeting, I was under the impression. That's why I
See
said,
the map.
huh?
You didn't look at the map.
I didn't look at the map, but I didn't hear it from your mouth when I was at the last meeting. Because when I did leave, you know, I was under the impression, being y'all was installing the culverts and everything, that y'all was gonna at least get my mother and Shirley them out of that dust of all that shell base that y'all put out there.
They're in front of their residence on Hunter Road is covered.
Yes.
You're talking about Cemetery Road.
Yeah.
No, I'm not talking. I asked how far was you going
Told
down?
you Durden Road all the way to the school road, and that includes in front of where your family's home is.
Miss Edwards.
But he said the school road and make a loop.
Well, the loop is from the paved road, Durden being paved and School Road being paved, that whole connector of Hunter Road is being paved. So I think what you thought is right, and what he's saying is right, but you're just not reading it. Here's the map.
You want a map?
They give it to them.
So is it going down to
Yes, yes.
See the Durden coming in and then going back all the way to Hollister School Church Road, or Hollister School Road. This is paved, that's paved. That will make a loop, a paved loop from here.
I know
going
that
back
loop in there, yeah, but what I'm asking is how far past the cemetery are y'all going?
here. You know where Durden Road comes in?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Durden? There's Durden. It's turning back to the east here and coming back to here. It's not going that way at all.
So you're not going towards Sweetwater Branch?
I'm not exactly familiar where Sweetwater
No,
Branch is,
he's
but I
not.
don't think so.
Huh?
I am. Well, you can give us a little bit of that spell money, and we'll continue it on out, Mr. Spells.
So much money done got wasted here already.
You think that's a waste right there?
So in other words, now the grader still has to come out and grade in between that there vacant area you left.
That's correct.
That's where the money went.
Anybody else? Public comment? Come on up.
Good morning, Roxana Regan Weeks for Loring Straits in Augustine, Florida. The first thing I want to address is 2 months ago I was here asking you to call your sheriff up and discuss this dogfighting issue, the investigation, no arrest, no seizures. It's now 4 months later. Do any of you have anything to report about that?
It's an ongoing investigation, we were told, and it will be for some time.
Okay, I'm going to tell you what I was told. As I told you at the last meeting, they had stated to me they were working in a task force with Manatee and Hernando County. I didn't buy that because I just know better. So I emailed them, the sheriffs of both of those counties, and they confirmed by email back there is no task force. I think it's important that you know that the participants and the attendees at that dogfight that night the majority of them are felons. Several of them are on current probation. We have people released from prison for numerous violent crimes, home invasion, armed robberies, assaults. It's just unreal. We got a guy that was on federal probation from Sarasota County that never should have been out of his county, but since he was at a dogfight, the sheriff's department should have detained him, notified his probation officers, and none of that happened. He's in the report. They ran him, and they let him walk. He's on federal probation out of Sarasota. Anyway, I've taken care of that. I've contacted the U.S. authorities down there. It's being done. It's being handled. But this just is not going to be allowed to go on here. I don't care who I have to go to, it's going to stop. The other issue I have is that it was made known to me about this $2.2 million Parks and Recreation Department administrative office they want to build at Theobald Park across from the Sheriff's Department. There was a discussion with the professor at the University of Florida about having the graduates over there do a landscape architecture plan for it. The response is the professor's retiring in June anyway. He thinks the project's too big to do without compensation. But more than anything, he cites the lack of growth in Putnam County, which is true. And to spend $2.2 million on administrative office for the Parks and Recreation members, this isn't a facility that's going to be open to the public for kids or their use. And I think you have some other office space around this county, around this building itself. $2.2 million, when I've been coming up here and other people have been coming up here for years trying to get something done for the animal shelter, and all you're going to do is tell us, we don't have any money. I'm just laughing at you. I mean, you are looking so incompetent and shady. You really are. Because this wasn't even done in a public commission meeting. These were done in workshops and through emails. And I don't know when you were going to spring it on the people unless you just put it through on your approval for commission agenda as project number so-and-so. I see that a lot. And it just, you're not doing what the citizens want. You're not doing what we need. You're going to benefit a few people in the Parks and Recreation, their admin. No, the citizens need more than that. And I don't care.
Ms. Weeks, if you could wrap it up, we've got.
If you want to spend $1.2 million on a fancy office building for them and chew up the footprint of the park out there, I don't care about that. Take the other $1 million and spend on the animal shelter. But something has to be done for what the citizens want and the citizens need, not your grand scheme of your legacy you're going to leave. I don't know, man. It's just,
Okay, if you could, wrap it up, Ms. Weeks.
I'm wrapped up.
All right,
I
good
hope
deal.
y'all
Thank you.
get wrapped up pretty quick, too.
All right. Okay, anybody else from the public this morning, public comment? Seeing none, we'll move to consent agenda. Thank you for everyone that contributed to public comment. Commissioners, any items wishing to be pulled this morning on the consent agenda?
I have none.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to talk about E and G, please.
E and G. To my left?
None?
Okay. All right, let's take a moment to pull those.
Mr. Chairman, do you want to go ahead and vote on the other consent agenda
That'd be
items?
fine with me.
Okay.
I also move approval of
Um,
consent agenda with the exception of E and G.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, that carries. Let's take E. Commissioner Harvey, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yesterday, I got a copy of the 2007 assessment for fire protection services, a study that was done. I asked Mr. Leary if we could dust it off and try to improve upon it. Mr. Leary, if you will, just for the public's concern, would you explain to them what you explained to me yesterday, sir?
Well, I think what I explained to you was the fact that, and might as well give a little historical perspective as to how we got to the point where we're at now, where we are, have a proposal before the board during the last budget deliberations leading into this fiscal year, when the board was looking at the fire tax fund and the manner in which fire protection services are provided throughout the county. The board discussed the fact that a potentially more equitable manner in which that could be funded would be through an MSBU, which would ultimately potentially lead to the elimination of the taxing unit and the establishment of an assessment that would be applicable to all properties throughout the county, resulting in a smaller assessment perhaps for those people who are currently paying the burden of supporting the fire taxing unit, and somewhat of a minor assessment attached to properties that are currently benefiting from fire protection that aren't necessarily paying anything towards that protection. So to that end, we thought it would be appropriate to secure the services of a firm that specializes in establishing assessments, and so we solicited proposals from firms that do specialize in that. Burton and Associates is one of those firms. I think we got 2 proposals. Burton and Associates was the lower of the 2 proposals. Burton and Associates just happened coincidentally to perform the proposed assessment that was considered back in 2007, and they will be using, to the extent that they can, some of the data that they generated from that study back in 2007, although, there has been a lot of changes taking place in the valuations and the assessments since then, so they can't totally regenerate what was utilized back then. But over the next 6 to 8 months, they will be evaluating and trying to establish a reasonable nexus for recommending a potential MSBU assessment that would fall across all properties in the county that you may wish to consider, that you could potentially put into effect on October the 1st of 2017. Then that might ultimately lead to, as I said earlier, the elimination of the fire taxing unit and establishing an MSBU for fire protection services. So I think Burton and Associates could salvage some of the work previously done, but by and large, I think they're going to have to do a lot of work again. They just can't simply regurgitate what was done back then.
Thank you, Mr. Lear. I appreciate that. I just really wanted the public to know that we're trying to use some of the old data if we can. Went with the same firm, and this is going to be a good start for Putnam County to give us a complete picture of what really needs to take place. So thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So move.
All right, we have
Second.
a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of item E on the consent agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. Item G, Mr. Harvey, again, the floor is yours.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I just want to commend Commissioner Palacier on the work that he did on this Hollister Church School Road. Mobilization is a big cost of these road projects, and bringing this to the forefront through all the commissioners and through our Public Works Department. Commissioner Palacier, you should be thanked, and it's a great project for that area.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Mr. Chairman, I move approval from item G. From
Motion
the
on the
agenda.
floor for item G. Second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of item G on the consent agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And it carries. Thank you, Commissioners. Item 7. Marcia Marinella, our Executive Director of Keep Putnam Beautiful. Good morning.
Yay.
Thank you for being with us. Yes.
Thank you. I am here to talk about the big Clean It Up, Green It Up,
I'm so excited.
which is going to be the first ever 500 volunteer one-day countywide cleanup, which is a mouthful. But we hope that this is a successful event. We see this as community building as well as beautifying our county. Hopefully it will become an annual event, and maybe in 20 years we won't even need it from now. Wouldn't that be a wonderful thought? We wanted to talk to you today about the cleanup, what we are doing. I'd like to thank the GIS department that created a wonderful map that we have where we're able to divide the county, and now we are mobilizing groups within each of those areas. We'll have staging areas at the individual city halls, and East Bostwick will go to the fire department. I'm sorry, East Palaca will go to the fire department, and Bostwick probably the library. Same thing out at Melrose. We are thrilled to see the groups who have come to us and said, yes, we want to help, but we need more. We need 500 people. So I'm here to ask you to help us. If you are a part of any civic organization, church group, neighbors, friends, please have them contact us, because we really want to hit that 500 volunteer mark, and hopefully we'll be even over that. I know Commissioner Harvey is going to be barbecuing for his group, so those in Interlochen are there for a real treat, and we're hoping at each of the sites that we will have Rotary or some other groups to come over and help cook for the volunteers after. So it's Saturday, May 21st. We'll start at 8. We're figuring that we will end probably around noon. What I need from you is, where would you like roll-offs in your district? Commissioner Harvey has given us the location. We don't really need it in Palatka because we deal with a different system. But for the other people, Daniel Carl and Wasteboro, who have been absolutely wonderful in helping with this, wants to know from the commissioners where they feel the best spot for the roll-offs would be within their district. And then we will have volunteers with trucks who are going to go around and pick up the bags of trash and take it to that one spot. So if you've got a location, please contact me so I can let Waste Pro know about it. If you have groups that you know of that I can contact, please let me know. And also, you drive around your district. If you see problem areas, please contact me so we can direct the volunteers to make it as effective as possible. We can't be here without you guys. You support us every year financially. We really appreciate that. And I can tell you that right now, we're approaching 20 tons of trash that we've picked up this year. And with this, we'll probably be way over that. So I think we are making a difference, for the community as to what we do. I'm going to throw out one little plug as long as I'm here. We're having our golf tournament on May 7th at the Palatka Golf Course. Money from this helps support all the activities that we do, and I like to tell people we're not just about trash. We do beautification, we do community gardens. We're now starting 5 new gardens throughout the community. So we really need help raising the funds for that, and the golf tournament is one of the ways we can do it. So if you like to play golf, I know Mr. Leary was in our tournament last year, and we hope we see you again this year. We'll be looking for you. We really appreciate it, and again, thank you for all your support.
Thank you.
Marcia, a couple questions, at least for me. How have you laid this out in zones throughout the county?
Yes, we have zones.
And do you have zone captains?
We have zone captains, yes.
And who are they primarily?
The zone captains, we have Cindy Ramirez, who is in the Interlochen area. We have Michael Franks, who's code enforcement
I don't need to know that, but what is their input on where these dumpsters, these slide-off units should go? They might know better than us. You're asking us for that information, but I feel like I should coordinate with the person you have in my district.
Well, again, I was going by what Daniel Carl had asked me. He said to me, ask the commissioners. So I am just going by what he had said to me.
I'll tell you what I'd like to do, if it's okay with you.
Sure.
I want to call Daniel, have a good relationship with him, and see if I can work it through Daniel and to my zone captain.
Okay.
And I think we all should probably do the same.
Yes.
And we can certainly do that. We can certainly do that.
And that date again?
May 21st on a Saturday, 8 to 12.
Okay. And, we appreciate your effort on this. It's a lot of volunteers in one day. So.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Commissioner Harvey.
Thank you again for all your hard work on this. I want to give a little quick testimony. Many, many, many years ago in a prior life that I had, I was the chairman of Interlaken Lake Estates Homeowners Association, which is a big area out there. And Kate Podovich, who was ahead of you, was Keep Putnam Beautiful's person. And we did a big cleanup out there where I even drove my truck in the lake and cleaned up beer bottles and stuff. And I was so looking forward to the next year where we would have more garbage. And we had less garbage. And she said that's how it's supposed to work, is once we clean it up, people don't throw out anymore because they see it beautiful like it should be. So every year we should see less and less garbage if we continue to do this. And I appreciate your efforts on this. I know it's been difficult, but I want to say personally thank you for everything.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
And that's my wish too. Like I say, hopefully in 20 years, there will not be a need for Keep Putnam
That's right.
Beautiful.
You'll be out of a job and
That's
Putnam will
it.
be beautiful.
That's it. Thank you.
Are you enjoying Putnam County?
Oh, I love it. I
Good,
love
good.
it. It's,
We like
it's
having you.
great. It's great.
Thank you for moving here.
Thank you.
Thank you for your
All
leadership.
right, yeah. Okay, Commissioners, I think that we'll go to number 9, appointments, and work through that. We have a 10 o'clock certain public hearing, and we'll try to get near that date, time anyway. Okay, let's go into animal services. I know most of you have someone you're bringing forward this week. I'll start to my left. Commissioner Harris?
I don't have any appointments. I did one from my district.
Yes, you did, and thank you. Commissioner Flack?
Yes, sir. I need the names of the individuals. I think we had at least 7 applicants. Do we have that information available to us, all of those that applied? Some actually live in the district, and then obviously there are a couple of at-large appointments there. And I want to make sure that if there's a person that is in a district that is restricted by where they live, that we can
Not
make that
take up
appointment
the-
and
yeah.
not take up the.
I have one of those for you. I didn't really give it much thought until now, but Rudd Jones had phoned me earlier in the week. He has volunteered on a few of our boards before and is very effective. But if he lives in your district, if you wanted to bring Rudd forward, I could search for someone else.
Well, I think we had like T.J. Smith and
Well,
Alex Sharp.
He's a big animal appointment. He's a horse dentist,
Right.
and now alpaca dentist too.
And there's a Joe Kirby and Linda Osborne, Spear, Pierce. So it's a lot of names out there. And at this point, we went from 0 to 10. And so I want to make sure that we,
First off, I want to thank Brandon and the newspaper for that exposure. I think
Yeah,
that
you
helped
really
us
helped us,
a bunch
Brandon,
on there.
Came out of the woodwork.
But I have 2 I've spoken with. They happen to both live in District 5, so I can make one the at-large and one of them the District 5. Mr. Joe Kirby is one, and Miss Rosemary Spear is the other. And it doesn't matter, or does there matter if one is the district, one is not in the district?
Spear was definitely on my list as well. So,
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
so if,
You can cross
They
that one
both
out.
live in 5.
okay, well, if you take the other one and make Spear the at-large, then I'll take TJ as the district, and then we'll still have one more at-large.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's
Rudd,
still some
I'd like to
on
put Rudd Jones in that at-large position, if that's okay with you, Commissioners.
That's fine.
I have no problem with that.
That would be a good choice.
So move with the, I guess Tony got it. Not quite. We'll make sure that the proper applications and names are in place. So I guess for the benefit of the record, Mr. Pelletier, will you mention the 2?
Rosemary Spear and Joe Kirby.
And then I had T.J. Smith, and then our chairman had Rudd Jones.
Okay.
So move.
Second.
Got a motion and second on the floor. Any further discussion?
Could you
Hearing none, all in
clarify
favor?
which are the 2 at-large? Which were the 2 at-large?
Okay, the 2 at-large is going to be
Be this one.
Spear and
Spear.
Spears and
Jones.
Jones.
It doesn't matter. We can do it, Joe Kirby or Rosemary Spear. There's not a,
Let's go ahead and get it in the record.
Spear and Jones are the at-large, and
Yeah.
then your Kirby
Okay.
and
Yeah,
Kirby
TJ are
would be
the
the district.
district.
Thank you.
District
Start
3
meeting.
is TJ and TJ Smith, and then District 5 is Kirby.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, it passes. All right, Affordable Housing Committee, anyone with an at-large representative? I have one. Pat Milton, I think we're familiar with it.
Yes.
Tabby.
But it has to be an employer representative, this particular opening, not a private
You're
citizen.
right, you're right. Okay, I'll talk to Ms. Pat again. You're right.
I think we probably need to seek out one of our
Bank
corporations
yeah.
there, because the previous one was at Lafarge, and of course, what they would bring to the table with their large pool of employees would certainly be great.
I agree. Okay. Anything else on Fishing Fund Advisory Committee? Anybody? Nothing there. Value Adjustment Board, 3 appointments for 2016. Commissioner Harvey, you and I both don't have elections. You want to take that duty on again this
So
year?
move.
Second.
In a second. All in favor signify by aye.
I think I said yeah. Thank you, Commissioner Flagg. I appreciate that.
We appreciate
Well,
you.
that was a very quick one.
He slammed the door on that one.
Whoa, I would take it.
That's a good duty, isn't it?
It's not bad.
Not
It's
bad,
pretty.
no.
It's pretty good.
We really think that it should be a 2-year assignment, because the first year is a practice run.
It could, actually. Okay, Commissioners, let's go to County Administrator Rick Leary. Anything for us this morning?
What about the citizen on that board? Are you suggesting?
Oh, I'm sorry. I would like to put Rudd Jones forward again.
Right.
So move.
Second.
All right. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. It carries. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Flagg, for pointing that out. Okay, County Administrator Rick Leary.
I don't have anything further, sir.
Okay, County Attorney Stacy.
Nothing further.
Okay, Clerk of Court, Mr. Tim Smith, the best hugger in the county.
Got the sign.
He's got the proof.
I got the proof and got the picture. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have no items today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Smith. All right, at this time, we're going to recess the meeting till 10 o'clock, which we'll meet back here for planning and development. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to reconvene the County Commission meeting, April 26, 2016. Mike Brown from Planning and Development will open the session.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commission. Mike Brown, Planning and Development Services. This is a plat vacation, a partial plat vacation for the Florida Park subdivision. The applicant is Charles Alford Senior Revocable Trust in Rosemary Moats. Again, it's a partial vacation of the plat for Florida Park subdivision. The agent is Charles Skeet Alford. I don't see him here today, but that's okay, we'll move forward. Florida Park subdivision is a plat of recorded back in October 3rd, 1925. The blocks and roads have not been developed or utilized in a fashion they were depicted in the 1925 survey. The portion of the plat that's subject to the request to vacate is owned by the applicants. There are other owners on here, and I'll get into that briefly later. The parcels are designated Ag 2 on the future land use map with Ag zoning. Presently, the majority of the Florida Park subdivision is under the ownership of the trustees of the Internal Improvement Trust Fund and is included as part of the Cross Florida Greenways. This approval, if the commission approves this partial vacation of these lots in question, they will facilitate transferring land transfer between the Alfords and the state to include these lots into the Cross Florida Greenways. Here's a picture of the old plat. The area highlighted in red are the lots in question that are requesting to be vacated. Aerial photo, you can see there's been no development. Roads or nothing else have been placed out there. Here's an indication of the future land use. The parcels are ag. All the surrounding is conservation. Zoning, again, is ag. According to the Land Development Code, the criteria for plat vacation, again, are initiated by property owner, which this is. And the commission will hold a public hearing as it is today. to determine if the vacate request is consistent with the comp plan in the public interest and no substantial interference with vested property rights from the request. And looking at those and measuring as an analysis, the Florida Park subdivision does meet the criteria for antiquated subdivision as set forth in Florida statutes. County Comp Plan Objective A114, we recognize that there are an excess a number of platted vacant lots in the county, and their effort is to reduce those. The lots as platted do not meet the density of Ag 2 future land use. They are 100 by 100 lots, so the density is a lot greater than the Ag 2 land use. The vacation of the parcels would not interfere with any vested private property rights, primarily because the state owns the majority of it. And then the rest, the request to vacate the Florida Park subdivision is consistent with the comp plan and is in the public interest. So with that, staff believes that the request to vacate a portion of the Florida Park subdivision meets the plat vacation criteria set forth in the Land Development Code. The taxes on the property are current, and the request has been appropriately advertised in conformance with the Florida statutes. Therefore, staff is recommending approval of the request to vacate Block 2, lots 25, 26, 34, 35, Block 5, lots 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, Block 6, lots 7, 8, and 9 of the Florida Park subdivision as stated in the attached resolution, and return that property to acreage. Are there any questions for staff?
Okay, Commissioners, questions or comments for Mr. Brown at this time?
Mr. Chair, before proceeding, since this is a quasi-judicial matter, I would ask that any ex parte communications be disclosed.
Start on my left.
I've had none.
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 Thank you.
Okay, all right. Questions, comments for Mr. Brown from any of the Commissioners?
I do, Mr. Chairman.
Your floor is yours.
Mr. Brown, you just referred to the lots located inside the resolution. Is that part of the exhibit on the resolution?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there is an exhibit.
Okay, there I see
Yes.
Exhibit A. I'm sorry.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. That's the only question I have, Mr. Chairman.
Anybody else? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to open the hearing up for public comment. Anybody from the public at this time would like to comment on this request? Seeing or hearing none, we'll come back to the meeting for Commissioner deliberations.
Mr. Chairman, I so move that we approve the staff recommendation to vacate the portion of the plat, alleys, and roads of the Florida Park subdivision as identified in the resolution.
Second.
There's motion and a second on the floor. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, like sign. It carries. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Thank you for waiting this morning. Okay, next on the agenda, Commissioner comments. Start on my left. Anything to comment on today, Commissioner
I
Harris?
apologize for being late.
Oh, you have quite a few
But it was
construction
profitable.
zones, I know.
I did. But I seem to run into them all the time. Sorry.
That's all right. Commissioner Flagg?
I have nothing, sir.
Okay, Commissioner Pelletier?
Next Wednesday, the 4th, I will be in Crescent City. I'm going to have to miss that part of the budget meeting. I have been obligated by the school down there to cook for the teachers for national or state or county educational day. I don't remember which one, but anyhow, I will be cooking for those folks down there.
I'll
those
remember
teachers.
to pledge your salary to their budget.
Okay, there you
No
go.
problem. Commissioner Harvey?
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Tomorrow, the competitive Florida people will be here for the asset mapping, and a lot of us are involved in taking them around, and really look forward to doing that tomorrow with the group of people that are coming in to look at Putnam County and the assets that we currently have.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Harvey, for that effort. I would like to hawk a very important event this Saturday, the Bostwick Blueberry Festival. And
Absolutely.
I was relieved this morning as I showered to come in that the blue on my fingers came off. We destemmed 600 pounds of blueberries last night, and it was quite an event. But this festival has grown and is probably the fastest growing festival in the county. But a lot of folks come from Clay as well as Duval counties, and it's quite the event. The vendors are bigger than ever this year, and there's something for everyone there. So y'all come out and have some great blueberry pancakes. This year, I think we served 1,700 pancakes last year.
Right.
So this thing is really growing. I think that's all I have this morning. I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
So moved.
Okay, granted. Thank everybody.
Transportation.
2 o'clock. Be there, be square.
Well, we got the, what do we do with all this time?
Really, really, really.